Yeah, we're starting into Volskaya Foundry as our first map in the best of 3. Again, this is the winner bracket final, so the winner of this series will end up as the first person or the first team to be confirmed in the grand final. The loser still has a chance to make it through the lower bracket, where they would now have to face off against Washed Up. But as Thatcher mentioned, we're straight coming in with a quick ban against Tracer. It's kind of interesting because now we have a Dino going up against Tai. The two of them had always these Zeratul battles, but also both of them can, of course, play the Tracer. And damn, we have a speed draft right now. They're not wasting any time here.
Yep, straight away to Imperius and Cassia. Very cool to see it. That is a massively burst-heavy composition, and it's very hard to play around because Cassia's blind takes up a huge chunk of the majority of the control points here, which means you have very little area to dodge Imperius, and gives you a little bit of trouble. However, Yarel will give them some zoning potential, and they're going to go with counter burst of their own. Li Ming Anna comes in for Laubers Fanclub.
Yep, the red team going full Mila Superstar here with the appropriate skin as well. But it's still cool to, outside of the last series, still see that high priority for Imperius and UL. So this time they don't end up being banned out, but we have insta-picks on both sides into one of the two heroes. Now, of course, a damage setup for Tai with a nano boost that will help him to get those resets. Garrosh gets banned, so Lauber won't be able to rely on that. For me personally, it's kind of funny to also see that early Zarya ban, which of course makes a whole lot of sense against the fan club here. But there's the Maiev after Ultralisk once again yesterday came through with a couple of incredible plays on that particular hero. So the fan club has definitely watched those games and they're like, yeah, that's not happening here.
The fan club saw the pain. They don't want to deal with it. Yes, they have Yorel, who can be tanky enough to absorb a couple of those walls on the Warden's Cage. But they don't want to have it. They don't want to deal with it, especially as Johanna, one of those other heroes who could really control that cage, has been taken away by Blade here. But that will potentially probably be swapped to Wit here, as Blade will probably want that Imperius. And they're going to bring out the Malfurion. So Malfurion, another hero who was sort of only for Tracer in the earlier cups and is now back as a top support.
Yeah, last final picks here on the side of the fan club. Lauber, of course, still needs his frontliner. He's one of the few that has played a couple of heroes in the past that others weren't really willing to touch. And I am just saying it, there it is. The Blaze as a main tank. Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. I talk about it and Lauber does it. Normally it was most Infernal Shrines where he actually went into this, but we had, I think, like 1 or 2 games on a competitive level outside of course, the Storm League Fiesta, where he also went into a Blaze as a main tank after the change to jet propulsion happened 4 or 5 patches ago. And the final pick, Medivh coming in. Nice. Feel the heat with the Medivh pick for Volskaya Foundry. A lot of layer defenses for them to keep Cassia alive here as the main damage dealer. Yeah, we got a couple of cool drafts here on our hands. So Volskaya Foundry kicking us off in the winner bracket final, everybody. So let's jump straight in. Method Mayhem continues with Feel the Heat versus Laubers Fanclub.
Let's get it underway here as we're looking at these level 1 talents to start us off. Portal Mastery, no surprise there. No deep breathing for Chromie. We're sticking standard once again for the first time. More sand echoes here for Rutsao on this Chromie, keeping it normal, keeping it standard. Everything else, pretty standard. The different talents we are seeing here is we're seeing Burn the Impure, percentage damage for Imperius, Celestial Alignment, sometimes we see that swapped out, and Power Hungry for Li Ming, no Aether Walker.
A little bit of poking in the middle, nothing insane so far. Of course, we're going to keep our eye on Medivh. His baseline is going to be super important here, just to determine how successful the hero is going to be on the damage side. Ultralisk has played incredible games on Medivh, which forced multiple teams now to ban the hero against him. And on this map, it can, as we said, be a total game changer. Already the portals here, a little bit aggressive, but gotta be careful on Jojo. So eats quite a lot of damage, but X-Ray is here, can heal it out. They're gonna be totally fine for now, as we have our bot laners, Imperius and Urel, just facing off against each other.
Clean up on the middle lane, just there's fast rotations, no such a rush for the moment. Portal used as a turret is going to be started by Feel the Heat a little bit faster. As Laubers Fanclub, they have to use their legs like plebeians to make it to the turret. But they're going to take it relatively similar in terms of time, especially with Chromie helping out. And as you can see, it's very easy for both teams, no such worries. In the meantime, Dynal's going to come down here, try and put some pressure onto Copen. Not going to be able to get anything here. Blade is not in a position to land a stun. Finally will, though, and that percentage damage is going to be good onto Copen here, but he's going to be the one in trouble with that anti-heal grenade portal. It's going to have to be used to get Imperius out of there.
It's going to be terrifying later to see that nano boosted Liming here. They are playing a double mage setup, so they really want to make sure that they get the massive damage with burst in. That's why Medivh is such a great hero to have now, because he can shut that down if he has that shield. But that also means you have to hold that cooldown back in a lot of situations, because you want to dodge, you want to just destroy this combo potential. Here's the fight over the healing beacon on the other hand, and immediately another stun is coming through as they're trying to make the play for Lauber. He turns around, gets a jet propulsion, and the damage! Dino goes down, first blood, and Imperius gets wrecked as well. That's a double kill for the fan club. Great start for them.
Great start indeed, picking up the kills on their side, and with that they give themselves just under a full level lead as Chromie's going to get her level 5 talent, a proper greeting. It's even more damage to slowed and stunned targets, which, well, there's a Yrel and a Blaze on the team. She's going to get good damage output from this. It's going to be good. Charge Blast coming in for the Li Ming here, so going for consistency on the damage as opposed to cooldown reduction or the extra healing.
Bottom of the map, with Ultril is coming in. He's trying to get some additional stacks as they are making a play for Copenhagen. But that's the fan club with a solid lead early on. This is kind of what we expected from them after yesterday's games in particular. And if we're honest, throughout the entire tournament series, they have been the team that disappointed a bit. I mean, they came in, they had high ambitions to make it to the grand final and really show everybody what they're made of, establish themselves at the top of the European scene. But they fell short every single time. They didn't reach the grand final even once. So coming through here today with the winner bracket victory would be a big step for them and secure them at least the second spot in this tournament. So that would be fantastic for them. And you can see that they're eager to do exactly that. They got lead on talents as we're heading into the objective now, and they can reclaim the spot from Fury.
Wit's putting on a little bit of pressure, trying to hold the point, keep that percentage ticking up. He's got a lot of damage for it. Bit too much there. Immediately forces out the force of will as Ty lands a full rotation of shots onto him, forcing him to back up. And Medivh tries to hold the congestion there, but he actually gets caught in the time trap. They're forced off, though. Good positioning by Feel the Heat. They're holding Laubers Fanclub back for now, as level 7 is available for both teams.
Yeah, it was a 5 versus 3 for a little bit, just because Ty had to defend the top lane and is now making his way back into the middle. And we saw Copenhagen at the bottom of the map. So they gave it up for the time being, but now the reclaim, or at least the attempt of pulling that off, as they are chasing Johanna out. Johanna has already used the Iron Skin. There's the shield and the portal. Whew. Ultral is delivering. That could have been a kill against Jojo on the front line, but very nicely done by Medivh.
This right here is why Medivh is banned. He just completely changes how the game is played. As we do see Johanna rapid the side, double stone comes out from Blaze, but short that force of will allows X-Ray to get out. Will might not be so lucky though. We had to go very deep here, but solid healing from X-Ray, who survived because of Medivh, keeps Wit alive too, and they turn it round, and that all snowballed from Medivh saving X-Ray as they retake positioning. And with 94%, this looks like the first objective is going over to Feel the Heat.
Copenhagen jumped in a bit too deep, and he pays the price. So he goes down, and that's a protector in the hands of Feel the Heat, the blue team, with an opportunity to therefore break through the top lane and take that fountain down to prepare for the second objective and the second checkpoint. Of course, some initial damage done here in the middle. Also, good stacks for Medivh. I mean, he isn't done yet, but he's sitting at 29. So this is already looking good for him, as long as he can avoid dying at this point. But yeah, there's the aggression topside. Fountain is already getting attacked, exactly as you should always do. And there's a few more shots fired. They will take this one down and get a big advantage for objective number 2.
The rocket punch onto Lauber, forcing him to jet propulsion away. Eldrisk even came out of bird mode to get an extra stack out of that. Good double sleep dart. Temporal loop onto X-Ray. Where's the follow-up? They don't have sleep dart. And Force of Will says absolutely not. Portal out. X-Ray's fine.
It's going to be another one of these games where we see, no matter what the outcome of map 1 is, a Medivh ban come draft number 2. Already so annoying. I mean, just imagine that every time you're coming in, you have the ult ready, you prep it, and all of a sudden Medivh just shuts it down. It's so annoying for them right now, because every single time Chromie uses the ult, they pretty much know what's going to happen next. They can just time it around it. Dino over here nearly falling, though. Medivh has to commit to, Malfurion has to commit to his ult. As we have the ley line seal coming through, maybe a chance to turn around. Lauber is low, there's another shield, and Blade gets the kill. That's the end of Blaze as they're trying to add the follow-up kill to Ana. But instead, Jojo gets blown up. Blade still able to recover the healing beacon, but that was close.
Absolutely detonated, but we have the Ardent Defender being forced out. They get another nice little capitalization there by T. Copen with the bait here. And yeah, we saw Falling Sword coming in for Johanna, but the time traps from Chromie shut down the chase from Johanna, so they couldn't go any further. And as such, Laubers Fanclub able to turn that round. They did not end up claiming the Healing Pulse, but they were able to claim a couple kills there, and they may be able to claim the Healing Pulse if they kill Blade here. Blade just drops it, doesn't want to take the risk, and he was right to do so. He does die.
What a setup right now. I mean, honestly, this is turning into a total slaughter. This is a full-on brawl that we're seeing. 5 kills against 2, only 7 minutes in, and the last 2 minutes have just seen 1 kill come in after another. Now with the staggered death on Imperius, there's even more control, of course, for the fan club. Ults are all in play. We have the Falling Sword, we have the Ball of Lightning again. There's just a lot of tools to put pressure onto Ana, to put pressure onto the backline on the blue team side as well. Medivh 2 stacks away from his quest completed, so he should be fine here. But yeah, that's a spicy start into the winner bracket final.
Yeah, they seem to have a solid amount of control right now. Feel the heat on the back foot as level 13 is just around the corner for Laubers Fanclub. Next objective up in top lane as the pressure will be applied up there by that siege camp. We may see Laubers Fanclub rotate up there to try and reinforce that and see if they can maybe pick off that fountain.
If you could take that down just before it happens, that would be great. The level 13 talent is already giving them an early start into it. But now that they have their own camp already pushing, it will arrive at the wall just in time. Then again, they're trying to go for the kill against Jojo instead, but the Iron Skin was still available, so she's able to walk out. And yeah, that's kind of important. That could have backfired, so you got to be careful here.
Last chance to kill Medivh. 38 stacks right now on that Arcane Rift. He's in the air right now. Temporal Loop charge a bit early from Lauber, and yeah, Medivh. Leyline.
Leyline, big Leyline. Blade on the other hand. Gets away.
Angelic Armaments was forced out, though, had to be used. Nice timeout there, turnaround attempt, but Medivh, as Copen forced to back up, gets in the bunker just to be sure. They're going to wait that one out. Medivh is done. Now time to feed, as Johanna is going to tank through. Iron Skin allows him to get out, and Ultralisk, wow, I didn't mean it. He is going to make it behind the wall, but time runs him down, gets the reset.
Can you imagine how annoyed you are that he didn't get that kill just 10 seconds earlier when he was sitting at 39 stacks? Can you imagine how much of a blow that would have been to the blue team? So Medivh literally completing it and starting to feed right away. But again, quest completed. Oh, X-Ray! There's the zip back into the fight, and he's dead too. That's 7 kills against 2 now. Yeah. The fan club, momentum in their hands all of a sudden. Staggered deaths too. Medivh comes back and Malfurion is still down for another 20.
Making the most out of the fact that we do not have Medivh. They finally drop the temporal loop kill onto Malfurion. They've killed off the fountain in top lane, and they are beginning to channel. Laubers Fanclub beginning to regain positioning. They are actually going to leave Yrel alone for a bit, and they're going to just pick up their turret. They have a single man advantage. They're going to take that risk, but feel the heat. Sensible decision. They're just going to rush up top lane and try and grab themselves some extra percentage while they wait for Malfurion to come back.
It's all about item control now, of course. And Lauber, he still looks at that healing beacon. Top lane, 40, it's pretty much dead even, 52 against 59, but the rotation is slowly coming, and that level 16 talent is really the biggest problem that they're facing off against now. You have the patience in a situation like this because you know that there's plenty of time for you to get the experience and then rotate in. And here comes now the extra talent, and that puts a very difficult decision in front of Feel the Heat. Do they really fight for this? They are ahead, but do they want to take a battle where they are talent down? And it's a bit doubtful, but they're staying. They're waiting to see if there is an opportunity for them.
They're trying to hold. They are, like you say, a talent down. They're still looking for it, though. Iron Skin has to be burned. And yeah, that opportunity does not exist anymore. Speaking of not existing anymore, Cassia, goodbye.
Oh, the portal disappeared. Oh, that's just sad, City. And yeah, she tried to move into the portal, and it's just gone a second later. So is Cassia, so that's a kill. And that's, of course, a big problem now. Not only are you, I mean, pretty much 1.5 levels behind, you are a talent behind, you're also a hero down. So this is kind of the worst case scenario. It's a 5 versus 4 with a talent advantage for the fan club. And this is a massive problem because what are you going to do at this point? If you look at the minimap in particular, there's not really a whole lot that they can accomplish. The fountain is down topside, so the fort is very likely going to be destroyed even before the objective is taken. But your chances to get that particular protector are pretty much gone at this point.
Yeah, they're forced to back up. They have no real chance to contest. Ooh. Okay, looks like we're heading back into the game, ladies and gentlemen. Ultralisk is also dead. Nanobus Lee Ming was still available after that, and Falling Sword has to be burned to leave. Lauber gets dropped to half health, but yeah, the Protector's not happening. It's going to be grabbed up here by Laubers Fanclub, which means they're probably going to get this fort before they even get the Protector, meaning the middle fort is going to be sweating nervously.
3-3 moment in the game once more. Ultralisk is always able to deliver these, but there's another kill as Blade falls. The camp is stolen. It's a snowball that is quickly turning into an avalanche. We don't need May for that. We can pull it off even without her, especially on a winter map like this one. So this is turning very, very quickly into an absolutely disastrous situation for Feel the Heat. I mean, this push topside isn't even assisted yet with the Protector, but hey, I got news for you. It's on its way.
It's on its way. Anna's going to be getting into that Henning, knowing that Anna is a squishy hero, so decides to keep himself safe. His team's currently full health. They don't need the healing, and the Protector can, of course, shield them up if needed. Gonna dive deep, and wow, yeah, mid-fort is going to be fine for a little bit longer as it's the keep that is getting pressured. Wit tries to move past the Protector to look for a pickup here, but instead Lauber just stuns the portal exit and allows everyone to get out of there. In the meantime, though, Protector is being bullied.
Yeah, they're obviously looking to see if they can maybe get the kill against Anna in particular once that thing drops, but that's not going to happen. This is one of those rare occasions where you actually see the keep fall, and it only happens really when you get the Protector, you take the fort down before the Protector is claimed, and in addition to that, you also have a talent advantage. Then you can pretty much move in and try and right away go for the keep instead of focusing onto the bottom of the map where you try to take the fountain down. And they make it work. And this is now really important because it will still give you a lead over the third objective, since while the battle rages on bot side over the checkpoint, the top lane is going to push against Feel the Heat. So the longer the fight lasts, the better for Laubers Fanclub, because eventually the blue team will have to send someone towards the top to deal with catapults. So that's actually super important. And they are still getting damage in at the bottom of the map to try and take the fountain down.
Laubers Fanclub annoyed the Realm Lord as the Protector expires, abandoned with 30 seconds remaining on it. Nice Iron Skin shuts that down. You have it's available, but Lauber already used it, didn't have the Unstoppable. Meantime, Blade is not available for this. He's depushing, which is why this siege continues to happen.
Yeah, fountain down, and now the fort itself, again, it's turning into an avalanche here. It's the deep of winter, and right now they are in desperate need of a teamfight victory. Feel the Heat is exactly the opposite happens. Malfurion is down, so is Johanna. It's an absolute disaster. It's incredible. Laubers Fanclub is just coming in, and they are going through the opponent's team like hot butter through cheese. It's crazy.
They try to look for Blade, can't get... Oh, the bunker denial there. They tried to look for the pickup, and in fact, Imperius tried to look for the stun, but was shut down by the knockback of Copen. The Yrel in control here, as they are going to steal the opponent's turret cam, which is going to have to go over to Rutzau or Henning, as, well, everyone has something. They're just going to mount up, and it's going over to Rutzau. That is 3 turrets in their favor, and that healing pulse is looking mighty nice right now for Laubers Fanclub after they kill off that middle fort.
To take every single fort down. They have the keep up at the top. They go, of course, for every single item that is on the map at this point. And they got level 20. It's a level 20 lead against level 17 and a half. Your objective hasn't even been announced yet, and they're already dominating and asking themselves, like, what else can we actually get here? So instead, they're going for the camp, steal that away too. They're taking the lunch money here. There's nothing left on the map for the blue team to take.
Lanes cleared up. Feel the heat. There's nothing left on the map for them to take, but they do have stuff to keep. If they can control their keeps and remove more catapult pressure, then all they have to worry about is this top lane. Right now, Blade is waiting for it to push up because it's going to be easy to defend this if he doesn't have to tank through every single minion. And the shield on the core will protect it well enough that he's able to sacrifice a bit of that. We're seeing a little bit of trouble happening there for Wit, but he's able to back out. Blade goes real deep. He's going to get that force of will. Now, can he get out? Yes, Leyline Seal will save the day. And that's going to mean Nano Boost is going to be used and not get value. He's just going to have to use it for sieging.
They're sieging up on this keep with the mages that they can obviously poke them into oblivion. It's insane right now. They're not even going for the objective. They're like, we don't need him. We don't need the objective for that. There's the timeout. Well, Copenhagen needs to be a bit careful, but there's even more turrets on the ground right now. Blade is still committing to the fight here as Malfurion drops the ult. They're a little bit low. There comes the jumper. Sweet is going in deep for the kill against Chromie. Nicely done. It's a lot of experience for them here, but Blade falls to Lauber. Another jet propulsion against Malfurion. Lauber still alive for a little bit longer, but he finally falls as well. That's a 3-for-1 trade in favor of the blue team, though. The problem is they have even lost some points on the core, as it's down to 88%.
What we saw there in that fight for starters, Feel the Heat, they're actually starting to gain control back. They have their level 20s now, which is a huge deal. They took that fight into 20s. They were able to finally win one out. But what we saw there, Blade, if he'd survived, that would have been a perfect fight for them, but he died to the power of 3 turrets, just mowing him down there, which meant he was taken out. But the rest of the team played that beautifully, literally walking into Laubers Fanclub to keep control and keep the pressure on. And with that final falling sword at the end, they were able to wait out that timeout of Chromie, pick up the kill, and now looks like they might get the first objective, but they're not going to have everyone here immediately because now Blade has to defend top lane.
But let's be honest for a second. From the perspective of the fan club, that was actually a pretty silly play. Because the sieging up on the bottom is not a problem. That's totally fine. You have the 20 advantage, you have mages to poke. But committing that heavily to a fight that you could potentially lose was not really a smart decision. With the top lane pushing with the catapult, I went over it a bit earlier, you have the bottom protector locked in pretty much. And going for it would have guaranteed you the keep and maybe a bit more. They were getting slightly greedy in the attempt to end the game then with it. But now they find themselves in the spot where they are on 20 versus 20, and they have a big advantage in structures. But now with that protector taken, it means that Feel the Heat is going to be able to take a few of the forts down. Now there is still going to be a lead in structures on the map for the fan club. That's not going to go away anytime soon. But that's a ticket back into the game. And all of a sudden we have even talents. So we've seen Feel the Heat with some incredible comebacks yesterday, and it's not out of the question that they can repeat it today if given the chance. And Laubers Fanclub just gave them that opportunity, and that can backfire, as pretty much the Swedish House Mafia from yesterday can probably attest to.
Just farming experience right now, taking out forts. Seraphim from the Yrel is off cooldown for a bit, but it's a 10-second cooldown, so that's not really a problem for Yrel here, as it is a 2-second unstoppable. A 10-second cooldown is pretty decent. And where are they going? They are all the way across the map. Here comes the Heaven's Fury, as right now Wit is able to delay them, and that's important because the Protector is being abandoned. Malfurion just got out and ported back to base. Dynar's going to walk back to base. They have to defend their keeps. Yes, they got XP. Yes, they got comeback potential, but Wit bought time, and that's going to shut down this nice little play from Laubers Fanclub. But Laubers Fanclub bought themselves even more space, and they've kept themselves a bottom fort.
Yes, and they also damaged the bottom keep even further. So that was
true.
actually really important too, because those minion waves did some solid work here. And there's a double catapult now appearing at the top side. And, well, we're 20 minutes in. It's not going to really do too much with the catapult now spawning for the opponent's team too. But X-Ray is still forced back. So there is pressure. And pressure that really matters. Now, the fight over the healing beacon should be a bit advantageous, at least initially, to take the position for the red team. And here comes the jump on the Chromie again. Here's the timeout. And, of course, they're starting to turn it immediately on the Johanna. Turrets are on the ground. Malfurion already committing to the ult, but Chromie is still dead. The sandwich is eliminated. And Henning is about to fall too. That's the double kill against the red team. And the fan club might actually lose Urel as well, as they're trying to go for the kill. The W was already used. The R is out. And with the ult expired, that's the third kill. Tai falls 2 as the Lightning Fury connects. That's 4 heroes down. And that's exactly what we talked about. This is exactly the problem. You can't get cocky when you're so far ahead. You need to play it cool, calm, and collected, or exactly this happens. Your opponent gets a chance back into the game and is now trying to use it to take a keep and maybe even more.
I can't believe they've done this again. Stun on X-Ray under keep, but he doesn't care. He takes the portal, they drop the turret, and it's now up to Lauber to hold a 5-man push. X-Ray goes for the base after he gets pushed by the rocket punch, but the core's going down. Lauber cannot hold it, and that is game. I can't believe they've done it again, and Feel the Heat take game number 1.
Game number 2, Towers of Doom feel the heat in the lead against the fan club after Lauber and his boys decided that they want to give themselves a little bit of a handicap and went for the game of throws on World Sky High Foundry. Feel the heat. They are one of the teams that very easily say, like, all right, we'll take that present. Thank you very much. And now they are only 1 map win away from making it into the grand final. So a lot of pressure on the fan club now.
And last thing I'll say before I talk about the draft again, Heroes community continuing to not let me down. We've hit that $1,700 for the match arena to be given to the prize pool, so thank you for your generosity. And Laubers Fanclub, they removed the Tracer. Right now, Die Now, throughout this entire tournament, has been one of the deadliest Tracers. But instead, he's going to bring out the Cassia. He's played that so well previously. He actually went Rockstopper in one of the previous games, and it was very effective. And it's one of the deadliest assassins right now. Sneaking through the draft, going to be picking that up, but that does leave Li Ming and Ana available to Laubers Fanclub, which up until the very last couple seconds was very effective, but they don't want it. They go aggro.
Yeah, and it's really interesting actually to see in the draft that they went for map choice. So they didn't go first pick, first ban, as we most of the time see. I mean, it's not really an exclusive thing anymore these days, but they did not go for the first pick. They actually said, we want to play on Towers of Doom next. They were the losers. They have the choice here. And okay, here we go. Tyrael and Maiev. So Ultralis gets his Maiev again, and they get Tyrael for the sanctification together with it. That's dangerous. Together with Cassia, that's very likely a Ball of Lightning play again. Tyrael, Maiev, that setup has been played already in this tournament with great success by them. And that's really dangerous for the fan club on a map where if they lose it, they will drop down into the lower bracket to face off against Washed Up next, who of course waiting for the next opponent here. So that's a terrifying start into the draft for Feel the Heat.
It's a terrifying draft for both these teams.
Yeah.
They've been feeling the heat so much they've forgotten how to chill. As we see Ana getting removed here, which would be terrifying here. A nano-boosted Cassia or a nano-boosted Maiev would still be very rough to deal with. Hammer gets banned out here. It could still sneak its way in, and this is a pretty solid map for it.
That pun is 5 minutes in the corner.
Joke's on you. I'm trapped in my room upstairs. I have more than 5 minutes to not go anywhere.
Fair enough. Okay. Okay, so the ban against Hammer, the ban against Ana. Ooh, and Zul comes in.
Okay, we haven't seen Zul in a while. He was really prominent in the first cup, but sort of fell off as teams really worked out how to play
Yeah.
around him. But look at this. Tyrael, Maiev, a little bit more melee focused. They're trying to force a fight in an enclosed area, aka that Warden's cage. Suddenly Zul jumps up in value, and being able to hold that Cassia still, if he can get that root onto her, is going to remove all that armor and give them the opportunity to pick up a turnaround. As we finish out the draft for Feel the Heat with Leoric, a little bit of percentage damage, and an Entomb to try and lock down that Zul, and Karazim for murder potential.
The Zul will very likely be the one to rotate between the mid and the top, though, so he's going to try and put some macro pressure onto this. He can, of course, in those team fights also get some value, but I'm pretty sure that the main focus of him is going to try and dominate map pressure to allow the 4-man then to make the play. And Rutsu here on the Zeratul as the last pick can actually start to rotate and get some gank potential in on the map. But the picks that we are seeing for the blue team are just terrifying. X-Ray and Karazim, the Leo pick right now, the entire combo setup that they're showing here is insane. So that's a really, really good 5-man. But we have a couple of X factors in this game now for the fan club, and it should be a spicy game on Towers of Doom. I'm pretty excited for it. Towers of Doom is our map. Map number 2. The drafts are in, and therefore we're going to see which team will take it here. And if we have a 2-0 victory for Feel the Heat to advance to the grand final, or if Laubers Fanclub can force the third game. They certainly went for a few more unorthodox picks these days. It's the first Zul pick actually that we've seen in the tournament. Definitely a hero that can easily make the rotation between the mid and the top happen and dominate on the wave clear. But a lot of heroic combo potential for the blue team. And if they can lock that in, if they can coordinate that, if Ultralisk pops off on Maiev once more, then this is going to be a very, very difficult battle for the fan club. But they have shown in the past how strong they are. Now they have to show, though, that they can do without Lauber, because he gets blown up immediately. Lulba already gone.
Lauber biting off way more than he could chew there, looking for the charge. Instead, ends up just being, well, punched in the face. And that's what Karazim does so well. Copen, this is not a good matchup for him, but luckily he has friends. And friends is not enough, as he dies.
Janitor just took out the trash.
Hey!
Came in with a mop at the end, mop to the face, and goodbye. I mean, that's a 2-0 lead after a minute into the game. Wow. I gotta admit, that was pretty sexy here. And that's an aggressive start with a lot of confidence now for Feel the Heat as they're trying to steal the opponent's pumpkin cam away too.
Wit tries to hold. Good blind from Dino, and that's probably going to be enough for them to secure this as Copen, he returns to the hall for the second time this game as Lauber is going to be eaten alive. Ty chased all the way under Bell Tower as the camp was stolen. Solid invade by Feel the Heat. And these games are certainly more aggressive than our previous series as Feel the Heat continue to snowball. 4 kills to 0 at 1 minute and 48 seconds.
I said it during the draft. I think what the blue team has here is terrifying. That doesn't mean that what Lauber's boys are playing can't work. But if there is any kind of good... Like, everybody on the side of the blue team has already standing alone a great hero. Everybody has a hero that they are incredibly strong with. And the combo between those heroes are insane. And they are playing it like they have done nothing else for the last few years. It's incredible. There's another kill. That's kill number 5. And they don't even have heroic abilities yet. Ultralisk alone was so dominant on Maiev yesterday that every single team just said no. We've seen that. We're not going to go up against it. And now they have it with combos, with Entomb, with Sanctification, with 7-sided, with Cassia. And they are just absolutely crushing this early game. This is getting totally bananas here. And the fan club, they really have to step it up or they're going to get burnt here.
There's a full level lead at less than 3 minutes. That's how much Feel the Heat have been snowballing this. They're about to get the double channel because there's very little Laubers Fanclub can do about it. But if they want to make a play, now is the chance because they're about to have a talent deficit. And that's what we do see Lauber moving forward. He doesn't interrupt. Dino zones him out and X-Ray immediately just dashes to beat up Lauber a little bit more. And that forces him to back off.
Right now, if you're on the fan club, you just have to say, all right, guys, take a deep breath, relax. we lost 5 heroes, but it's early game. We didn't lose too much because of those hero losses. It's not like we lost a ton of experience. We are a bit behind, but that's recoverable. This is still something where you can redeem yourself. They lost, of course, also some structures with this, but it's still manageable. So if you just from here on out say like, okay, just take a breath, concentrate, and do your thing, you can still make that play. Rutzo misses a singularity spike over here on the other hand, but they're trying to make the play for Cassia, who turns it around and nearly gets the damage connected with Lauber to drop him once more. But so far the red team is playing a bit closer to home now with these moves.
Coben has deja vu. This time he lives though, as Blade once again interrupts him trying to make plays. As we do see Laubers Fanclub just about to hit level 7, which will even them up talent-wise, meaning they'll be able to actually contest again. There it is. Let's see if we get anything interesting. So far, yep, it's standard across the board. This is going to be a cleanse, so we weren't expecting that to be any different at all. So, in terms of level 7s, incredibly standard from absolutely everyone.
Also, one thing that I want to quickly highlight, just simply because we pointed it out in previous games, now we have Charge Blast on level 4 for Li Ming. So we pretty much had throughout the tournament every single talent on level 4 for Li Ming played at least once. Good damage against Wit down here, but it showcases just again that there's multiple talent levels for Li Ming now where you have a lot of options. There are of course still a few mandatory ones. I mean, you can't really play on a high level without picking Calamity on your level 7, for example, and with that you get the Illusionist on 13. But there are on quite a lot of the heroes now talents where you have a lot of wiggle room depending on what kind of nuance you want to put onto the build, what your personal preferences were.
Oh, Ultralisk styling on Lauber there, as Henning's going to begin to channel in, but Die now is in the perfect spot to interrupt it. Blade is deep, and he will likely die for this. No, he's going to get out as we see the invade coming in. Down goes Blade as we do see the invade continue, and finally Laubers Fanclub have a kill on the board. They steal the cap, get Cassia, Ultralisk. He's used all his escapes, resets though. He gets tie, and what did I say about styling? He's the entire fashion show as Wit is taken out as well.
Wow! Ultralisk, not only does he not die, he chunks them all down and then he gets the kill. Maiev at its finest right here. Of course, that doesn't change the fact that the altar was taken by the fan club, so it's 32 points to 32 points, and they haven't taken the experience lead. So as I said earlier, focus on your style, play a little bit more calm, just relax a little bit and you're going to be fine. So they can still make this. They need to really put Zul into a position where he's dominating on the wave clear, where he can make these rotations, and then the rest of the team can look for those kills. Russo can move around, see if he can get a quick gank set up. So they have still that potential, but we've definitely seen the team fight, how dangerous the team fight of Feel the Heat can be, especially now that level 10 abilities are ready for them, where we get, of course, oh god, please don't go March. Thank God.
I was about to say.
He held that way too long.
Blade trolling Khaldor for a little bit there, but of course it is going to be the Entomb. Entomb 7-sided is one of the deadliest combos in the game. We see Zul going for the Skeletal Mage's Sank is just too good, removes that poison tick, so no Poison Nova isn't really an effective option here. Otherwise, it's pretty normal across the board here. Warden's Cage. Differentiation, we can see Ball Lightning coming in, and that's what we do see as Ty is having a bad time. He's going to be taken out.
Yeah, those were a few too many heroes for him to deal with, so they really just jump with 4 behind the fort, take him down. And they can't take the bell tower, but that's a good kill. And of course, these kills start to matter a little bit more as we are heading into level 11 now. But there's a double altar up on the map in just a second. Still 4 bell towers against 4. There's the tether. They're trying to go for the 7-sided. Bloodlust being used. They're rushing away. Bolt of Lightning being utilized too. And Copenhagen is incredibly low. Here comes the Void Prison. Zul goes down as X-Ray gives chase. And now they're turning it on Lauber with his Infurious. The Entomb is in play. There's another tether, and Lauber is once again wiped off the map.
The snowball is good. Like you said, the Void Present was decent, but there was way too much damage on Zul before it even came out. And with that X-Ray, all he had to do was to wait out that bone armor, and they picked up the kill, picked up the channel, picked up the camp, and they're probably about to pick up the bell tower before they get that second altar to get even more value. Yeah, looks like they're going to just channel it in. Don't want to take the risk of being defended here. They only have a one-man advantage, so they're just going to get that channel in and get the extra 4 shots instead of trying to go greedy for the 5.
32 to 24 points now on the core, and with the pumpkins, they should lock that bell tower in now. Actually, no.
Yeah.
Few of them were taken apart just a little bit too quickly. Bell tower is still very, very low and can be taken at pretty much a moment's notice. But still, nice. They wait, immediately trying to go for the bush here, expecting someone to sit there, which actually was the case, but Copenhagen could move out. But they are going for it again. Just before level 13 is ready for them, they're still making the engage here. Zeratul is taking a bit of a beating as he moves out. And here's the level 13 talent, so another opportunity to push the bot lane and get that bell tower converted over.
Imperious, beautifully dodged by Dino, who's able to back up here. Blade eats a lot of damage from Zeratul, forced to Wraith walk away here. There's the charge onto X-Ray, whose 7 sights only hits Imperious. That's going to force Lauber to back up here. Blade, by the way, has gone for Spectral Leech, so we'll probably see the Mithril Mace later on as he wants to chunk down that Imperious and try and beat up those backlines.
13 now on both sides, as the talent was just picked up. It gives us Illusionist for Liming, and of course the Tidal Waves, the new standard for Rhaegar on the level 13. Plus the double altar. I mean, again, double altar, top left, top right is usually an easy exchange, so I don't really think anybody is going to make a big play out of that. But it opens up a push at the bot lane, potentially. Actually hiding already here. Woods is trying to take Blade down. Blade moves away, ghosts out, no problem for him. And everybody is focusing bot side, as Dino has already done a bit of damage and has got another wave through. But the team fight, that could be a different story here, as Lauber wants to stop them, goes for Blade again, and Leo is about to fall.
Here comes the cage, 7-sided strike, spread amongst multiple members here, sanctification, and immediate Void Prism. Perfectly done by Hurtau, but it means the Bloodlust is almost expired as they are able to go for Blade here, trying to focus him down. He will get out as well. Ultralisk drops low, Hurtau with the chase and Vorpal Blade, but he is traded. They lose a 1-for-1. Ultralisk has gone down, and they finally pick up Cassia as well. But in the meantime, they've gone too greedy. They lost bot. They're about to get double-channeled, Khaldor.
Yeah, that's 10 points gone. So congratulations, you just won the fight, but here's the sad news, you lost everything else. So they lost both of the altars, and they lost the bot bell towers. Got 1 kill out of it. Because Fieldy just simply said, boys, do you remember how you win the game? Was it kills or was it taking the opponent's core down? Was it the core? Alright, let's go for those altars then.
Yeah, you wiped us. Good luck pushing to win as they know powers of doom. So we're going to see Laubers Fanclub stuck on wave clear duty once again. They are going to try and pick up their camps here. This is the rough part. Li Ming actually really does have to reclaim this bot lane, because if they don't and they lose another team fight, it's a triple altar phase next and they will just straight up lose. That is lethal as Lauber focuses Wit, who finds Copenhagen. Can they finish the kill onto Tyrael early? No! He gets out 50 health! He's gonna get away! Zeratul gives up just a second too early.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Leo has topside taken another pumpkin camp, so it can do a bit more damage. Yeah, he's easily gonna get the wall now. He takes the wave down too, so that's good damage connected. And it takes the gate, and both of these towers should eventually fall as these minions are pushing in. Maybe not with this wave, but possibly with the next one. Camp at the bottom of the map, gets at least taken, so has 2 camps now pushing through that. Triple altar faces up, and there's the level 16 talent, a little bit quicker in the hands of Feel the Heat, as they are of course now very eager to drop the red team down into the single digits on the core point.
Gonna back away, Laubers Fanclub. They need to stay alive because they are in a risky position right now. Wit really trying to pile on the pressure, but Sword of Justice, absolute denial there. They get level 16. They are in time here. They're gonna get the top lane. So now it's all about if they can control this. Wit goes in. You can see that bound by law. So much value as Rutzau gets eaten here. X-Ray, they get him! Reset number 1 goes over to Laubers Fanclub. Bloodlust is popped, and they get the start of the Ultralisk. Can they get him? Warden's Cage. Ultralisk in full retreat here. Ball Lightning comes out. Copen arrives. He completely ignores the Entomb as Lauber is in position. But Cassie's too early. Dino into the sanctification to try and hold.
Yeah, and we have nearly a kill against Zeratul. Oh my god, Blade Is he going to be able to get out of there? He gets a drain and gets a couple of hits connected, but he finally falls. Not really a problem for Leo, obviously. The channel on the altar is already happening as Zeratul is trying to get a couple of points onto the core again, but the rest of the team is already starting to retreat here. Ultralisk, of course, able to survive, but Wit won't be that lucky. He tries to get the counter kill, and yes, the explosion value! Right here, the trade against Zeratul. Nicely done.
Zeratul's like, I have 8 mobility abilities, and that's what it feels like, and I can't get away from this. Feels bad, gets sniped away, and he is off the board. But they lived. They only took 1 shot from the one set of rotation from the objective. Zeratul was able to sneak away the channel during that fight, and Laubers Fanclub are still in the game, and they are even on experience.
Same time, though, this all happened without a support for the blue team simply because they lost X-Ray this early. This, on the other hand, is a bit of an early commitment, but now that they figure out that the opponent already, right from the beginning, knows exactly what's up, they're just simply deciding that they're going to let that leash again. That was a bit too much.
Wit scouting with his body because Sword of Justice is an amazing talent. Continues to put on the pressure. Imperious, Laubers looking for Blade and anyone else he can find here. Grotzau, acting as a ward, is going to spot Ultralisk. Wit reveals Grotzau there as they just eat Ultralisk for breakfast. Absolutely taking him down with the wonderful charge from Lauber. And Laubers Fanclub are starting to gain momentum.
Yeah, stuff like this just can't happen. You can't get picked like this. So that's the big problem here. If you allow the opponent to get isolated kills like this time and time again, then it's just a problem. And now we have a single altar at the bottom of the map. They're trying to go for the fight at the top on the other hand. Copenhagen is already getting entombed and might actually fall here. They're trying to come for him and Zul goes down. Rhaegar is channeling the bottom, which means that Rhaegar is missing for this fight. There's a kill against Cassia on the other hand. The kill against Leo. And that is 2 down. The fight is won. The altar at the bottom of the map is channeled. 12 kills to 11. 20 points against 10. 18 to 18. It's getting much, much closer here in this game all of a sudden, especially since the bottom bell tower for the blue team has taken tons and tons of damage and might be converted now as the red team is pushing in with a few pumpkins.
They are absolutely going to get this. They will move forward here. Boss leashed and available. They're going to be able to pick this up with no trouble at all. Laubers in position to prevent anyone from even attempting to defend that. And they have control. Sappers will push that in. Tyrael should be able to hold them back and give them time. And in the meantime, well, it's Laubers Fanclub's turn. They have a man advantage. They have a distraction. This could be a boss play for them, but it looks like they were just going to scout it. Li Ming changes her mind and chooses to instead try and guide in that camp.
That's a little bit of... I mean, it reminds me slightly of what happened in the first game. You know, one team dominating in the beginning and then making a few questionable choices that really turn against them. Yeah, that's one shot fired. One goes through. So we are looking to at 19 to 10. No announcement on the next objective yet. We got 20 on the board for the red team. There's another 30 seconds available. But by that time, we should have the blue team also with Storm talents. So shouldn't really be a problem for them to fight on 20 talents against the opponent. And that gives us Entomb, and that's obviously, as usual, the game changer.
The level 20 spikes are pretty good for Laubers Fanclub, with, of course, Gladiator's Warshout, Shadow Mending, and the Mortal Wound, and that Heavenly Host. That big team-wide shield is going to be amazing, but Feel the Heat, like you said, buried alive. They have the potential for Rock Stopper if they want to keep Cassia alive. Copen's going to channel this in uncontested. It's going to be mid where the fight happens. There's level 20. Holy Arena as well is where we're going to see some huge plays. As Lauber dives deep. Did he go too deep? He's going to activate Angelic Armors. Here comes the Bloodlust buried alive. Onto Zul. He's in the silence, but Blade is eaten alive by Copenhagen here. Zul tag value. And now with the Void Prism, Ultralisk is deleted. Wit is down. And it's just up to Dino now to carry. Dino's trying to turn it. X-Ray still here. He's looking for Rutsau. He's gone. Bye.
Yeah, that's another kill. And you can't just go up against Zul like this. You need to either have him stunned or at least put some blinds in or something. But none of that is happening. And now Dino was the last one here. 5-man wipe as they easily take him down. Top side, Zul has already taken the control. They're going for more camps. They want to get way more damage in. With a 5-man wipe, you can try to go for another bell tower before you complete the channel. You get the pumpkins. but the fan club is making their way back into this. A few mistakes in the mid game allowed momentum to be built by the fan club, and now they're capitalizing on it. Definitely a massive lead early on for Feel the Heat, but they made similar mistakes as we've seen from Laubers Fanclub in game number 1, and they're getting punished for it now.
This is GG. Blade can't hold this. He's going to be taken out here. Zul's going to get top lane. That's going to be 7 shots from the altar, 3 sappers in the bot lane, and the triple conversion. That's straight up game over. They have to try and hold this, but I don't think they can reconvert any of these fast enough. No. And as such, that's Laubers Fanclub bringing us to a game number 3, ladies and gentlemen, in the upper bracket final.
Yep, nicely done. 2 shots left, and of course the barrage is still going on. There's nothing that they can do anymore. It's 12 kills to 17, and this is going to be a 3rd map in this winner bracket final. GG, as the fan club takes the victory. All right. Infernal Shrines, and our first ban is ETC, as he just said. Our final map in the best of 3 series. Of course, that winner bracket, still a best of 3, whereas the grand final is going to be a best of 5. And the winner of this series will advance to the grand final as the first team in this tournament. Ban against Tracer. And I'm a little bit hyped for this. We've seen, I want to say this is a bit more of a scrappy series than what we've seen previously in the lower bracket from Last Dance and Washed Up. There's definitely a few more mistakes being made, and we had a couple of throw moves on those lanes. It just feels that one team dominates, then they get a bit too confident and get punished for it shortly after. And I hope that we're going to break that spell a bit on Infernal Shrines, but I also want to remind everybody that this is the map where the entire comeback started for Feel the Heat against the Swedish House Mafia after the House Mafia dominated the entire early game. So it just seems that every single time we have a Feel the Heat game, this particular pattern emerges.
What are your thoughts on this Zarya ban? It's the second time we've seen it, and obviously Feel the Heat, it's very thematic, but we mostly see Zarya these days as the follow-up pick for a Garrosh to give that speed barrier style, or an extra support pick for a Vala. What do you feel about the Zarya pick as that second ban, as opposed to maybe that Garrosh ban?
I actually like the Zarya ban simply because the fan club loves Zarya so much and play it non-stop. So if you want to remove that from a team that has shown a huge preference on this hero, then I like it. As a general meta ban against any team, I don't really think it would make a whole lot of sense. But Laubers Fanclub was literally the team that started with this entire Zarya plus Garrosh setup, and they play Zarya also outside of a Garrosh combo. And on this map, where you get the poke and the control of the shrine, especially with the ult, but also then support for a potential Vala pick, you can definitely ban that out. So there are a lot of bans there. You let other ones slide, obviously, but given the preference of the team and how strong they are with that playstyle, I can totally understand why you would just try to get rid of it from the get-go and don't want to face it.
Incredible analysis. Couldn't agree with you more. Nicely done. As we head into the next ban. Yep. Just yep. Medivh gets removed. Well deserved. It's too much of a pain. Just get it out of here. It changes how the game is played, so it's going to be gone here. Now, Feel the Heat. What do they remove here? With Tassadar on the board, Imperius on the board, are they afraid of Rhaegar? The Bloodlust was hard to deal with and did allow a bit of a turnaround from Laubers Fanclub in the last game. They're not scared of it. They're more scared of Zeratul.
Yeah, and of course, there's also, it's not only about Rhaegar. I mean, Rhaegar is great here, but we've seen also now more Deckard Cain coming in to just get that additional control. And that's great for all those entry points around shrines. So that's something that they could also use if they don't want to commit to Rhaegar play, which is still, of course, a fantastic pick on this map. I mean, no question asked. And there he is. So Lightning Shield plus the Bloodlust comes in, and we got Leo. Leo plus Imperius at that front line, right? Good setup for them. But so far, I still like it a bit more what we're seeing for Feel the Heat here. What is Ultra displaying, though? That's the bigger question for me now.
Maya's been left open to him again, and I still think this would be a pretty solid pickup for him for a second time here, if that's the strat they want to go down. It worked very well in the last game. It's not happening, though. Instead, we see Ultralisk on Malthael, but we still see Blaze, the Johanna Blaze combo, and Malthael for those finishing blows, leaving us with a hyper carry Cassia.
Pretty massive front line now, yeah. Cassia is going to be the main damage, but again, Ultralisk is of course the one that can also finish any target with the last right setup. And honestly, this is again with Ana a setup where you can easily go Tormented Souls, you can go last rights, you have like all the options. You can look at there's the Maya from the other side.
The
You can
turnaround.
see how the game goes and then ask yourself, do you want to have the finisher move or do you simply go for the Tormented Soul setup? And it comes down to control and stuns on the other side. So this could very well be a Tormented Souls with a nano boost. We've seen that a few times and it's terrifying when you don't have enough stuns. And we have mainly Imperius to deal with it if it happens. But yeah, both are options, of course. Yeah, game on. We're on Infernal Shrines, and this is, of course, for, well, pretty much all the marbles. You still have a chance, if you lose here, to go through the lower bracket, but things are going to get a bit difficult here. Not really the series or the way that I expected the series to go, but we have now on the left side once more Feel the Heat, and towards the right, the fan club, obviously very eager to also secure themselves a place in the grand final and live up to all the hype before the tournament. Yeah, but in we go. This is another setup where we have very strong combos on both sides and a very heavy melee lineup in particular for Feel the Heat. With a little skirmish already breaking out in the middle of the map.
Very sensible because, as you state, that multiple melee lineup. Good, hang on, we'll talk about that in a second because X-Ray is looking a little low here. He's going to get the heal dart out, and Wit, with the stun from the side, buys his team enough time to back up. But in reaction to that multiple melee, we're seeing the Consume Vitality coming in at level 1 from Leoric here. 4% of his max health on each skeletal swing per hero hit, and a 2-second cooldown reduction on that level 1. Cassie is getting Deja Vu. Dino will be able to back up. Great sleep dart from X-Ray.
Yeah, for now, this is looking like a little bit more of a dominant presence for the fan club. But again, it's early on in the game. Both teams are looking for kills that they could possibly get. Nobody is really going to go for any super aggressive moves in the earlier stages. At least we really expect it. If anything, we're going to see that fight over the camp at the bottom of the map. But of course, picking up a random kill would be kind of nice. But the shrine, maybe not even the first one, maybe even the second objective is going to show us which team is going to play aggressive here. Because if you're finding yourself on the last map of the best of 3 series, traditionally both teams play a bit more cautious early on.
Pressure continues to be applied by Laubers Fanclub with that extra mercenary camp. Leoric double lanes here, and so far, Laubers Fanclub, despite not being able to get that kill with Imperius, as they do look for another one there on Ultralisk, they do have control and they have a consistent lane pressure. Leoric's finally cleaned up that wave in mid lane, so that Impaler camp will now put even more power onto that, onto those tier 1 structures. Interesting, as Lauber takes a lot of damage here, but that's a Black Harvest for Ultralisk. Is this a Tormented Souls game with the Nana Boost Dana?
Yeah, I mean, again, I told you, it's super. It can destroy you completely on this map.
Yeah.
Especially if you have everybody stacked up, which is kind of the case on the Shrine. I've seen the move into Tormented Souls plus Nano Boost destroy entire teams when they were lacking CC. And there is some CC available, but it's not really all that reliable over here for the fan club. So we'll see how it works out for them. But there's a high potential for Ultralisk to go that way.
Would be great to see here, and this also does synergize very well with his Death's Reach. This allows him to dive backlines all the easier with that extra range. Now harasses Tassadar out a bit. He will get ganked down below as the objective is started, but Dino's able to back away without too much trouble. Blaze, by the way, at level 4 has gone for Meltdown, so damage reduction here to try and keep his team alive and to allow him to do his frontline duties more effectively and give more freedom to Ultralisk.
Yeah, both of the teams now, of course, looking for that opening, and there it is with the stun against Blade. The immediate follow-up from the rest of the team as they're trying to take Blaze down, but he turns it with a jet propulsion, falls regardless as everybody jumps onto him. The first blood in the game. Good kill by the fan club as they're looking for more, especially Lauber with another lunge, but Ultralisk jumps out of it. 32 against 23 points still towards the blue team. And they control the Shrine. They might have lost the hero, but they still control the objective and will lock in that first Punisher.
Too little, too late came that kill. So as such, like you say, we will see that Mortar Punisher going over to feel the heat. In the meantime, we are seeing Blaze making his way back top to deal with that Fallen Shaman that has done a lot of damage to the towers. But Copenhagen is up here as well for extra pressure. 39 stacks of Black Harvest were achieved in that, and now we have Massacre. This is 100% a backline Tormented Souls build, if I have ever seen one. As the Punisher's pulled over, very nicely done by Laubers Fanclub, they clean that up very quickly.
Yeah, you get the wall out of it, not more than that. But that's, of course, an opening for later on in the game. Slight leading experience, nothing too crazy, especially with the kill against them. But now that we have more talents coming in, there's a bit of a, I don't want to call it a dominant position on the map, but more of a wedge driven between the red team as they're trying to go for the camp here. And Malthael gets this as everybody else is zoning towards his left and right side. But there's the stun set up. Lauber needs to be careful though. He's a bit far out here and he's taking tons of damage. And that's an opening for Cassia that we see Dino take immediately to lock the kill in. So good job. Lauber down. And they can take down that fountain as well.
Yeah, poking it in with Blade. Nice hold there, using the crossfire to finish the job. And yeah, Cassia running in to finish the job onto Lauber, who went a little bit too far there. And Lauber was not able to defend after Dino used his E. So they're just going to be forced to play a little further back until their main tank re-arrives. But Lauber is already respawned. It's early in the game. Makes his way back to this bottom lane to help defend with the rest of his team.
Taking the fountain down was definitely more important than the kill itself, but of course the kill leads to the opportunity to take that fountain. If not for that, then Lauber would have been able to defend it with the team together. But losing that fountain mid lane is a bit of an issue since the next objective spawns mid lane. So there is an advantage for sure now, though it's a small one for the blue team. And big invade over the camp, and everybody is stacked up over here. That's a huge problem. All of a sudden we're seeing mad damage coming out, and they're retreating without taking the camp. They're losing one hero in the process. Lauber is low. Here comes another kill. Tacita is down. Imperius falls too. Oh, that sleeped out of X-Ray. Barely missing Henning, or that could have been another victim. That's 4 kills to 1. It's level 11 versus 9, and not only does the fort in the middle get attacked, but we have a big push for the one at the bottom too.
Falling Sword and Tormented Souls combined. That's terrifying. And already we are seeing Feel the Heat with that level 10 advantage. They're going to get a double fort play here, and they are making the most of their quick advantage and starting to try and snowball a lead here. Ultralisk up to 107 stacks on Black Harvest, and he is making the most of it, picking off backline members, and he was getting incredible cleaves on that camp invade.
Yeah, it was just nuts. That's a huge, huge advantage now. On the map, in experience, it's kind of crazy. They might get level 13 on the objective too if they just soak a little bit more. And just look at the bottom of the map. With the Falling Sword in the arsenal, Wit knows that nobody can really lock him down here. They would have to ganking with multiple heroes. So he pushes the lane out even more and is already at the keep wall. It's like, well, if nobody goes for me, then I guess I'm going to fall back now. Takes another wave in the middle, and now they can go for the objective. And he jumps in right away with another attempt. Bloodlust is already used. With the aggression, they're trying to move on to Henning. Bloodlust is allowing them to move away. Ultralisk with a bit more damage, but he nearly took out Lauber and Henning. This team is just crushing through the team fights now.
Nano Boost was used, Tormented Souls was used, so everything was actually used here by Feel the Heat except for Bunker. And immediately with Warden's Cage and Archon available, we see Laubers Fanclub looking to make the turnaround play. Ultralisk stunned out, Bunker is down, Lauber dropping low. He needs to get out of here. He's dropping low, he's tanking through. Here's the heal from Henning. Finally, Lauber is dropped by Cassia, and everyone else realizes, oh, our health is gone and Archon's expired. It's time to get out of here, because Feel the Heat forced them off the point, pick up the objective, and it's portals across the board for Laubers Fanclub.
Level 13 talents, they were way ahead on the objective too, so that's another Punisher. Moving to the middle where the fort is already gone. We are 8.5 minutes in. This is 8.5 minutes. This is the second Punisher that we're seeing, and it's 2 forts down. 13 against 11, 5 kills against 1. It is pretty crazy. They're delaying the Punisher for now. They're taking camps instead, but this is... I mean, honestly, this is a fantastic position for the fan club now. They are way behind, so the comeback can start any second now.
Nice use of the new habits. Blade is out. No trouble for him. Meantime, Impalers, a little bit of damage onto that mid lane. Copenhagen drains Wit. Nothing too aggressive yet, as camps are just being picked up across the board. Feel the heat, making the most of their level and a half advantage and their talent advantage by grabbing everything possible there is to control and delaying that camp as long as possible. They are going for a full aggressive push, and to give Laubers Fanclub nothing to do if they're able to get a turnaround team fight. Because if Laubers Fanclub get the team fight now, all they can do is push. There's nothing left for them to get.
I mean, if the previous two games were any indication, then this is just the perfect setup for the fan club now. They're so close to turning the game around here, so it couldn't be in a better spot. Now, jokes aside, with that big of a lead, it should be difficult to come back here. But again, we've said this in game 1, we said it on game 2, and right now I feel the most important thing is that Feel the Heat is not getting overconfident, that they're being diligent and just still focus on every single play here, because we've seen way too many throws in this series already.
Dino shows off his micro by dodging a lot of the shots from X-Ray, but X-Ray able to land even more. Heals Dino up to full, who was using his 30 armor to tank the fort there, because of course the fort could only bring him down to minus 20 armor, which would bring him to a plus 10 overall. Forceful comes out, they're looking for him here, but the tankiness is just too much from Cassia.
Half a level to 16. There's still a camp in the middle. Leo's finally rotating over to make sure that the keep is not taking even more damage. It already was damaged by the Punisher earlier. Malthael now at the bottom of the map, but at the top they're still poking and prodding a little bit. Fountain is of course out. Interesting part is that pretty much every single building is still standing for the blue team, so they have a fallback option on every single lane. And 16 talents are ready. They have the lead now.
Let's see what they can do with these. We have the martial law percentage damage for that Cassia, and Wit's already looking to try and maybe set one up. 8% heroes maximum health on mortality coming in for Malthael, so he has even more dive potential, which is the entire style of this build. And fanaticism. Johanna's now even scarier to deal with, and Blaze, seeing as he's one of the main engagers here, goes for thermal protection, goes for that cooldown reduction for his jet propulsion so that he can maybe set up kills.
Top fort is taken apart. I mean, you don't want to fight against a level 16 talent. So there's very little else to do once the opponent picks the talent lead up. You can either take the fight and risk that you lose and fall even further behind, or you simply accept that you're going to lose another structure that you would have probably lost anyway, so they're just falling back and sacrifice it in order to soak experience elsewhere on the map and try to get to 16 for the next objective, which in and of itself is already a pretty difficult task to accomplish.
Well, we can see Wit there. Like you said, he already has falling. You said way earlier he already has falling sword, so he's basically impossible to gank here. And now he has fanaticism, so he's even more annoying. So he's just clearing lanes solo. No one's really near him except for Ultralisk. Everyone else is just doing stuff across the map, and no one can do anything about Wit unless they bring all 5 people to him, which they may end up having to do. But right now, Wit, he's already moved back. He's moved up to top lane. He's just playing it safe now because he lost sight of the enemy team.
I mean, we have seen a couple of teams just try and gank someone that has an escape tool and really keep one CC hero a little bit out of reach to follow them and lock them down. But in this case, it's just a bit too complicated for them to really pull that off, and it's too much of a resource commitment that they can't really allow themselves to do now. 10 seconds are left. They will have 16, so it's going to be even talents for the two teams here, which means the comeback is still possible for the fan club. The problem is, as mentioned previously, that there are no structures left anymore in the middle for the red team. They don't have fountains anymore, and they don't have forts. So they don't have a huge distance to safety, and they don't have the option to go pre-tap or just simply heal in the middle of the fight.
Blaze charging out of danger. Johanna doing Johanna things, eats the spear from Lauber and doesn't care. Iron Skin plus Fanaticism means not really a problem. Lauber, in fact, going to eat most of his health there from the ball lining. He's forced to activate the Angelic Armaments. They look for the turnaround. Copenhagen is in the backline. They focus Wit for Falling Sword. He disengages. Bloodlust was popped here as Ultralisk looks for that backline, but he's actually disengaged on. Black Harvest is finished, but Nano Boost was baited. And with Entomb still available, Copen's looking to try and pick someone up. Blade comes in, looking for a kill, takes a lot of damage here. Slow Totem, Tether comes in, but there's the Tormented Souls. And there goes the Maiev, there goes the Tassadar, and that is the power of the fully stacked Malthael.
Yeah, this is a bit nuts right now because that's 3 kills. Cassia, of course, cleans house behind all of this. It's Malthael who comes in and initially dishes out most of the damage, but Cassia acts as the finisher in this case and has 43,000 damage now to her name. It's actually incredible because initially we've seen so many abilities not connect for the blue team. Blade missed a few jet propulsions, they were juked, and there's sleep dust that didn't really connect their way. So it wasn't a perfect engage by any means. There were a lot of abilities that were juked out by the red team, but it still didn't matter because they have so few tools to deal with their tormented souls when it finally comes to the real fight. And Dino is just safely in the back. He hasn't died once yet. There's a single kill on the side of the fan club. So feel the heat with a Frozen Punisher, with the pressure through the top lane, a 4-level lead, level 20 talents. It's just looking so incredibly strong now and will attempt to end the game now if they can. All they need is a kill or two and they can spiral that towards the core.
Quick pick talent for Ultralisk, going for no one can stop death, not even going to attempt to delay. He knows what he wants and he wants to finish the game, which means if he dies, he wants to be back in this. Blaze, multi-man charge. He already has on his Unstoppable. There's the bunker. That'll buy him a little bit more time, and that will kill off this keep. Mission already accomplished. With the Punisher still healthy, they want more.
Yeah, and they're going in once again. Ultralisk needs to be careful as Tassadar nearly chunks him down, but here comes the Heaven's Fury again as they're attempting to go for the core. A good stun coming through against the front line of Laubers Fanclub, and the Punisher jumps in, wants a piece of the action and gets it as Rhaegar gets absolutely murdered. The core next on the menu, but the counter-kill approach to Ultralisk, they nearly take him down. He survives a little bit longer, dishes out some damage, but the mace to the face is Copenhagen takes him apart, but Ultralisk falls too.
Malthael is back, though. He took the Resurrector's tie. It's trying to hold. Loba goes deep to try and delay as Copen is down. That is a 4 for 1, and the 1 is already revived. Let's make it 5. Finally, Tassadar goes down, and we have our first grand finalists as Feel the Heat take out Laubers Fanclub in the 2-1.